Judson quoted Christopher deCharms, who is a neuroscientist and who invented brain imagery analysis, and is the founder of CEO of OMNeuron and Brainful. Christopher, join me on stage, please.
So as I thought about this talk, there's a part of me that realized I have a challenge with superlatives. There's a part of me that wanted to come out on stage and wave my arms around and say that pain is a superlative problem, and that after 10 years of work in the research labs, we have something new that we feel like we can do about it. This is a problem that impacts almost a third of the people in the world. If you left from my hometown in San Francisco, and you started walking across the United States, and all of the people in pain were put on the left-hand side, you'd have to walk to the Mississippi River before you met someone, a man, woman, or child who wasn't dealing with pain. This is the magnitude of the problem. So being able to do something about this is a superlative. But there's another part of me that's a scientist, and I don't like it. I don't feel comfortable when people get on stage and try to predict the future. It's too much responsibility. I can't predict the future. I can just tell you what we've been doing, what we've been building, and ask if you'd like to be a part of it. As part of this story, I got to experience it. So we all here went to bed last night together or separately. And we all shared a human body with its frailties. We all had a brain, and you don't know how or even if you're going to wake up the next morning. One morning in 2005, I woke up and I was waving my arms around. I heard myself in the dark screaming, because even though I had gone to bed feeling fine, I woke up with a pain that was unimaginable to me, undescribable. I was waving my arms around, trying to find some position, some place that I could put my body where the pain would stop. But I couldn't. I was working at Stanford University at the time, and I went to my colleagues, people that I worked with in the pain center, and I asked them what I needed to do. They said, "We'll sign you up for neurosurgery tomorrow morning. You may not walk again. You may not get out of this bed." They gave me a bottle of pills about this big. They talked about injections. They talked about procedures. And I was terrified that I had lost everything I understood of what my life was. And I felt like a failure, because I was running a laboratory trying to understand pain, trying to understand the mechanisms of controlling it. I knew all the cognitive strategies that were out there, and I tried to use them. And my pain felt like a tsunami that I could not control. I couldn't even tell you how much pain I was in. So it's 10 years later, and I want to share some of the results of where we've come. The first challenge is just that, trying to even be able to communicate how much pain you're in. So what does that look like?
Did you know that according to women, childbirth is the worst kind of pain there is?
And did you know, according to women, that us men can't handle any of it?
Well, did you know that according to men, women exaggerate everything?
Everything.
What we're going to do today is we're going to put some electrode simulations on your abdomen, which are going to give you some contractions, so we can kind of simulate contractions to show what your wife went through during labor.
That sounds fun.
How are you doing there?
Stop smiling!
You don't want to quit now. There you go.
This is not pain research that was conducted in our laboratory. This is a joke that I think gets so deeply to the question of how you can convey pain to someone else, How can you communicate to someone else, visit upon them what your experience is? So in this talk, I'm going to talk first about how to measure pain, and then about how to control it using brain science technology. So when somebody comes to me in pain, I pull out the standard, state-of-the-art, modern medicine technology to try to diagnose them. It's not a lab test or biochemistry or a scanner. It's a technology that was invented around 1564. It's a number 2 lead pencil and a piece of paper, and I asked them to mark on a line how much pain they're in. Well, I'd done that hundreds of times, but when I was on the other side of that pencil and I had to pick a number from 1 to 10, I had no idea what number to pick. I hope that someday soon we're going to look back at this and we're going to think that this is somewhere between archaic and laughable and barbaric, that we ask patients to diagnose themselves. So can pain be measured? So people have thought about this for thousands of years. Descartes even realized that pain may start in your foot, but the signal travels to your brain. So can you measure it there? We have incredible new developments in neuroscience that are making it possible to measure what's happening in the brain. So at left, you can see a movie, and at right, the brain of people inside a scanner. The red areas represent areas that are activated by the movie, and the blue areas that are deactivated. You can take the cerebral cortex of the brain, and you can unfold it into a flat sheet. As the movie plays, you can see the activation that plays out across the cerebral cortex, almost as if it was a movie screen. But the cerebral cortex isn't just about vision. It's about what you see, what you hear, what you feel, your choices, your actions, all of your experience. So imagine being able to read the information off of that sheet and reconstruct what somebody's experience is. That's what we and other groups are coming to be able to do inside a brain scanner. So in this example, the movie, seen again in the upper left, in red, is what subjects saw. Down below, there's 3 subjects who were seeing this movie. They'd seen many previous movies that you can see in blue, but the green are a computer's reconstruction of their experience based only on their brain activity. This is literally reading the experience of these people during watching this movie from their brain activity, reading the kind of map I was just showing you. You can see the face in the upper left is pretty well mimicked in each of these 3 people in the squares in green. It's not a perfect match. It kind of looks like an early, scratchy phonograph record. This is Thomas Edison with the first phonograph. The sounds that he produced then, the first sounds he was able to read out of physical matter, sounded scratchy, and he probably had no idea what it was going to mean to be able to do that. And I think we today can only begin to imagine what being able to read information directly from the human brain is going to make possible. So can we read pain from the brain? At our research institute, we've put hundreds of people inside a brain scanner, and we've discovered that there are signals in the brain that correlate with the amount of pain that a person is in. The red areas in the brain are activated linearly. The more pain someone is in, the higher the level of activation is. And we found that the brain is changed by pain. People who are in pain day in and day out, it's like they're carrying an incredibly large weight. Imagine every day carrying the weight of this pain. It changes the physical nature of their brain, just like if you were in the gym holding a weight day in and day out. You'd feel exhausted, but you'd actually be developing an incredible strength. We found the anatomy of that, the changes in their brain, and this means that we can measure objectively, quantitatively, that pain is not just in your body, it's certainly not just in your mind. We can measure the physiology and the anatomy of it in your brain. More recently, we've developed a simple test that you can use at home, a calibrated way to measure your own pain so that you can communicate it with the people who care about you, with your doctor so that you can track your pain as it gets better over time. When we finish calibrating the system, we're soon going to be releasing it. In the second half of the talk, I want to discuss the process of trying to change the brain to make pain go away. Let's start with, is this some philosophical problem that we might not even be able to solve? Some law of physics? People have thought about life in that way 100 years ago. They talked about élan vital or animism as if life was some mystery force, which on some level it is, but we now understand the biology and how to fix many problems in it. I believe the same thing is going to happen with our understanding of pain. This is not a problem with the physics of the universe. The problem is that we were born with a brain that's not perfect. It has fundamental design flaws that were built into it. It's not yet a complete system. So if you have a car that crashes, or a plane that crashes, or a computer that crashes, you don't look at philosophy. You ask yourself how to fix it. That's what we need to do with the brain. If you wake up in the morning in terrible pain, or if you just wake up not feeling as good as you would like to, or with depression or anxiety or substance use disorders, these are solvable problems of this machine. These are flaws in the current design. And over the course of a human lifetime, our voyage is to learn how to overcome our own limitations, to learn how to build the capabilities of our own brain. We each try to figure out how to find our own happiness, how to meet our true potential. Individually, in most cases, we have great teachers, but fundamentally, we're trying to figure out the capabilities of this brain we were born with, largely alone. I believe in the future we can do this together using technology. I believe in the future we can share, using technology, the capabilities across many people's brains. We've come to be used to, in the last 10 or 15 years, the idea that one element of the brain, information, is shared around the world. In the palm of your hand, you can know the information from almost anyone, increasingly anywhere in the world, from Wikipedia, Facebook, and Google. This is the information in the brain. We're heading towards an era where you can share the capabilities of how to control the brain and what you can do with it. Is it true that you can only control 10% of your brain? There aren't parts of the brain that are sitting there dormant and active. But it is true in the sense of your body. Your ability to use your body to its fullest potential is hindered and limited by what you've learned. People have gone to incredible lengths even to overcome great obstacles that they may have found with their body and done incredible things. We can do this with the brain. Can you learn to control new places in your brain, just like you can control a new muscle, just like you can learn a new skill? Can you learn to fill in activity into some place where you've never put it before? Well, we haven't had a technology until very recently that would allow us to even try that. Older Thomas Edison tested hundreds of light bulbs. He was a solo inventor. If we want to invent new capabilities for the brain that we can install, I think that we should turn to a large number of people so that we can all share the capabilities that we can invent with each other. So you can see in red here the endorphin system, the opioid system of the brain. This is the system that makes pain go away. This is the reason that soldiers in battle, this has been extensively studied, often with major injuries that may put them in pain for the rest of their life, in that moment will tell you they feel no pain. It's because this system is turning their pain off. Colloquially, this is the system that's the reason that mothers can pick up cars off of their children Somewhere back in time, you can imagine someone running through the jungle being chased by a tiger. If they bang their foot and it hurts, they better keep running. So we have a built-in system that can turn pain off very powerfully. This is the system that drugs like morphine mimic. If I ask you right now, turn on your pain control system, turn on your endorphin system, you have no idea how to do that. If you ask me right now to do that, I've got a good shot at it because I've spent hundreds of hours inside an MRI scanner and I've learned how to control those parts of my brain. Imagine being able to take control of the different capabilities of your own brain. This is the dopamine system that produces human reward and pleasure. If I give you a unicycle and 15 seconds of really good instruction, in 15 minutes you can practice and start to learn to ride it. And after a while, you can become an incredible expert. This is the nature of how learning works. When we put people inside a scanner, using the technology that we invented and patented to show them through virtual reality goggles like you can see here, the functioning of their own brain in real time while they're inside the scanner, for the first time, you can see the capabilities of your own brain. You can see it acting. You can look deep inside and target a region that you want to control, like your own pain system. While you're inside the scanner, we reconstruct 64,000 points a second of data. We make 3D models, and incredibly, people are able to watch their own brain in real time. We target regions that they're going to try to learn to control. They're the inventors here. Through their creativity and perseverance, they figure out the cognitive strategies that will allow them to control their own pain system. We've done this in hundreds of people, thousands of scans, and we've discovered that people can learn to control these brain areas, that it's never been possible because there was never any other technology to do this. And so the pain that you may feel in your back, you can control by controlling regions of your brain. And if you do this repeatedly, looking at a display that depicts your brain activity as a virtual world. In this case, the 3 brain regions you just saw are linked to these 3 areas of fire. It's your job to learn how to make the fire get bigger or smaller, to learn how to control a virtual universe that manifests your own brain experience directly. If you learn how to control this, can you control your pain? Well, what's a good target? In people like this, chronic refractory pain patients who've tried every treatment that's available. Many of them have been in pain for years. A 25 or 30% decrease in pain can be life-changing. It can be the difference from where I was when I had a C6-7 disc herniation, like I told you about, and the maximum time I could sleep was about 120 seconds. A 30% decrease in pain can mean someone can go back to their family, can go back to work. About a 25% decrease in pain is the gold standard from pharmaceuticals when they work. This is the decrease that we observed in National Institutes of Health funded clinical trials using this approach of training people to control their own pain regulatory system inside the scanner. Almost a 30% decrease in pain on average. So can we invent new capabilities for the brain together? By putting people in the scanner, working with them, we've done the first real-time brain imaging augmented psychotherapy, and we've allowed people to be inventors, to figure out new capabilities for their brain. And we've aggregated together hundreds of these cognitive strategies from many different sources, and we've tested them through thousands of trials in their ability to turn on and turn off different brain systems, in their ability to change people's pain. Through testing in generation after generation, we've made these strategies more and more effective until ultimately we can teach people the strategies without the teaching signal of the scanner itself, just by teaching them the cognitive exercise. So can that alone impact their pain? The answer is yes. The blue bars here represent people who never received signals from their own brain. They just practiced the best cognitive strategies that we had, evolved in hundreds of prior people. And you can see that these people, again, achieved about a 40% decrease in pain. So can we deliver this to people at home without a $3 million MRI scanner? In our most recent clinical trials, we let people use this at home. We customize exactly what their experience is going to be based on detailed estimates of their brain from questionnaires. So imagine in your own home trying to go in and learn to control your own pain system or some other system of your brain. Imagine trying to learn a new capability for your own brain. Would you be able to do it? So we've had hundreds of investigators from Stanford and MIT and Harvard, brilliant engineers, along with the subjects inventing these skills. But the most exciting thing to me, the most moving thing, is to see the results from the people who've been using it. These are some videos that we've recently gotten back that some of the recent users have shared with other users.
I hurt my back a few years ago while I was working, and ever since then I've lived with chronic back pain.
I've had a lot of lower back pain since I got into a car accident a while ago, and there really was just nothing that worked.
And I've tried all kinds of medications and physical therapy to try and ease the pain, but nothing really seemed to work. So I thought I'd give it a try and see what happened.
I've been doing it for about 6 weeks.
I didn't really think it was going to help any.
I can't believe how much better I feel, how much more relaxed. I know how to deal with my pain at any given time, and I don't have to worry about the side effects of any medications or anything like that.
The pain kind of just, I can focus on that pain, and the pain kind of goes away.
With their mental exercises, it helped me ease my pain, and now I can get through an entire day.
In our recent clinical trials conducted in thousands of people at home, 86% of people can learn to control their own pain just like you can learn a unicycle a little bit in 15 minutes. They can already start to see a decrease in their own pain if they're willing to try it. If they do it for weeks, they can produce sustained, lasting decreases, very clinically meaningful decreases in their own pain. We've seen this work across many kinds of pain, from back pain to neck pain to fibromyalgia to arthritis to migraines, because we believe it's acting on the central brain mechanisms of pain and pain control. So we're just at the beginning of this journey, and I'd like to invite you to join in this process of creating new capabilities for the brain. We haven't released the Brainful platform yet. We will be soon. If you'd like to be a part of this, send me an email. Here's my personal address. All the emails that I receive in the next 24 hours, I'll make you a part of our private beta that we're going to be conducting. And I hope that we can all together develop new capabilities for the brain that we all share. Thank you.